Shedeur Sanders is back at the center of the NFL conversation, and this time the story is completely different from where it started. Just 12 months ago, the questions surrounding him had nothing to do with talent and everything to do with why a quarterback many considered a first-round prospect watched his name slide all the way down to pick 144. Back then, Sanders hadn't taken a single snap with the first-team offense. Nobody was talking about him as a legitimate starter. The whole situation felt more like a cautionary tale than the beginning of something big. Fast forward to now, and the picture has flipped entirely. Sanders enters training camp as one of two players with a real shot at winning the Browns' starting job. Dillon Gabriel and rookie Taylor Green are taking a backseat in terms of representatives, while Deshaun Watson and Sanders get the lion's share of first-team snaps. For a player who was written off less than a year ago, that's a massive shift in status. And if there's one principle the Sanders family has hammered home again and again, it's that nothing gets handed to you. Everything has to be earned. That's been Deion Sanders' message from the jump. Coach Prime talks about it constantly, whether it's in post-game interviews or on his own YouTube content. Earn your spot. Earn your representatives. Earn your respect. If that's truly the standard he holds his players to, then he should be thrilled watching his own son walk into camp with a legitimate path to the starting job, built entirely off performance and opportunity rather than reputation or draft position. But something else happened recently that's pulling attention away from the quarterback competition itself and toward a much more personal moment. In a recent episode of Well Off Media, Coach Prime was caught in a moment that wasn't fully meant for the cameras, at least not in the way it played out. His other son, Deion Sanders Jr., asked him a simple but loaded question. Knowing what you know now, would you have done anything differently? It's the kind of question that sounds casual on the surface but digs into something much deeper. Coach Prime has never been shy about his opinions, especially when it comes to how his kids handle business, money, image, and decision-making off the field. He's built an entire brand around discipline, structure, and doing things the right way, even when the right way isn't the popular way. So when his own son turned the question back on him, the moment carried weight. What made it stand out wasn't just the question, it was Prime's response. He didn't brush it off with a scripted, feel-good answer. There was a bluntness to it, a kind of skepticism that hinted at real concerns, not just about the past, but possibly about choices being made right now. For a family that has built its public image around confidence and swagger, that flash of hesitation and honesty felt different. It felt real. This is where the story becomes bigger than football. Shedeur is fighting for a starting job on the field, but off the field, his father is clearly still keeping a close eye on the decisions being made around him, whether that's business deals, public image, or the people he surrounds himself with. Coach Prime has never separated football from life lessons. To him, they're the same conversation. How you carry yourself off the field is just as important as how you perform on it, and that mentality clearly hasn't changed just because his son is inching closer to a starting NFL job. It's worth remembering that Prime himself has lived multiple lives. Hall of Fame cornerback, larger-than-life personality, businessman, and now head coach shaping the next generation, including his own sons. He's seen the traps that come with fame and money up close. He's watched other talented players get derailed not by lack of skill, but by poor decisions made away from the field. So when he expresses even a hint of doubt or concern about his own son's choices, it's not coming from nowhere. It's coming from experience. For Shedeur, this adds another layer to an already high-pressure summer. He's not just trying to outplay Dillon Gabriel and hold off a rookie for the starting job. He's doing it while under the constant, watchful eye of a father who has never been afraid to speak his mind, publicly or privately. That kind of scrutiny could break some players. For others, especially those raised inside that same demanding environment, it becomes fuel. The Browns' quarterback competition is going to dominate headlines throughout camp regardless of what happens off the field. Every practice rep, every preseason snap, every small sign of progress or regression will be dissected by fans and analysts trying to predict who walks out with the job. But this moment with Coach Prime adds a human element to the story that goes beyond stats and depth charts. It's a reminder that even with all the hype, all the draft night narrative, and all the talk about earning everything, there are still real family dynamics playing out behind the scenes. Deion Sanders has never pretended to be a passive observer in his sons' careers. He's involved, opinionated, and unafraid to challenge them, even publicly. That unfiltered moment with Deion Jr. might have lasted only a few seconds on camera, but it says a lot about where Prime's head is at as his son chases a starting NFL job. He's proud, sure, but he's also watching closely and clearly not afraid to admit when something gives him pause. As training camp rolls forward, all eyes will be on the quarterback battle in Cleveland. But keep an eye on this subplot too, because with the Sanders family, the on-field story rarely tells the whole picture. There's always another layer, another lesson, another moment where father and son push each other, question each other, and ultimately shape each other. And if Coach Prime's blunt honesty is any indication, this journey for Shedeur is about far more than just winning a starting job.